Hey book readers, it's Sue, and I'm here to do a review of The Woman in Black by Susan Hill. Just finished reading this. It's a book published back in the 80s. Really short book, only like 164 pages. Pretty quick read. I was in the mood for something horror. I haven't read anything horror in a long time, and of course seeing all the trailers recently everywhere on YouTube, on my homepage for everything. I was interested in reading the book, so I got the one with the real cool cover with movie tie-in here. And just to give you in a nutshell what the book's about, it's about a lawyer named Arthur Kipps. He's sent by his firm to attend the funeral and settle the affairs of a recently deceased woman in this faraway town. And while he's there, he's terrorized by this angry, vengeful woman in black. He mentions seeing this woman to some of the townsfolk there, and they're visibly shaken when he mentions this, but they refuse to speak anything of her. So there's some hidden secret there that they don't want to talk about, but they seem very afraid of. Most of the book takes place in and around the house of the deceased woman. It's referred to as Eelmarsh House. It's separated from the rest of the town across a salt marsh, and the only way to reach this house is through a long causeway when the tide is down. So several times during the day it's inaccessible and very isolated. It gives a kind of a creepy feel, just that alone. It's shrouded in fog, hard to see. The house inside is equally dank and creepy, shadowy, adds to the atmosphere of it. I thought this book was a bit slow-paced. Literally, you don't even arrive at this house until you're about halfway through the book. And I was shocked. Being such a thin book, I expected it to be a little bit more fast-paced, more action happening throughout. But it surprised me on how slow it was. The first instance with him seeing this woman and some of the strange sounds, the child's cry he hears out in the marsh, visibly shakens Arthur, and his first wish is to bolt back to London and to never return to this place. I didn't get that same sense of dread. Yeah, it was a little creepy. He does get a little lost out there. This woman, though, in black, never really approaches him, never tries to make contact with him. He just gets a sense of dread, but the author, I don't think, conveyed that very well to the reader. I didn't get that same feeling of it. She does make several appearances, of course, through the book, and we find out more about who she is, about the woman also that recently deceased, that he's there to attend the funeral, and her relationship to that woman, and why the town is somewhat fearful of this. Had a pretty neat ending. I don't want to go into spoilers or anything, but overall I was a little bit disappointed in it, in the pacing of the book. It's not a bloody, gory type of horror, which I'm glad. I don't really care for those. It's more Edgar Allan Poe-ish, but without quite the quality of a Poe. That's very hard to achieve, I think. But the writing style is somewhat similar in the language used. Overall, I give this about a 3 out of 5 stars. Still worth the read, but not top of my list. Now, that being said, after I finished reading this early this morning, I rushed out to the movies because the movie just opened up, and I wanted to make kind of a comparison between the two. And I was surprised at some of the differences in it. The character of Arthur Kipps in the book is an up-and-coming lawyer. He's engaged to be married. Things are looking kind of on the bright side. And he's sent off on this task, and he hopes to do a really good job and maybe someday make a partner. But yet in the movie, it's a totally different twist. You begin, he's suffered a severe tragedy. He's lost his wife while she was in childbirth. He's now the single father of a 4-year-old child. And I was surprised at that twist, but it made me like the character more, have more compassion for him. And I thought Daniel Radcliffe did a very good job in the role. He carried that grieving widower. He carried that part off very well. Because of the grief he's been suffering all these years, his work has suffered from this. So actually he's in trouble at work, and this is sort of his last chance. He's got to do what get paperwork. He's got to do a good job in settling this woman's affairs and everything to prove that he's still worth keeping on at the firm. So things are a little in dire straits for him. The house is kind of how I expected it. The scene, the town, but there's a lot more incidents that take place in the town. A lot of tragedy that occurs after his arrival, and the townspeople kind of blame him because now that he's there, it seems like it's triggering these events with this appearance of this woman that they haven't seen in some time, and they want him gone. There are some incidences. There's one incident in the book that is also in the movie where he's awoken suddenly. There's a dog with him that he has as a companion that one of the townspeople that befriends him loans him to when he's there, and the dog gets all kind of creeped out all of a sudden, and he's staring at the doorway, and hackles are raised and growling, and it's like he's supposed to be alone in this house, yet this dog is reacting to something on the other side of the doorway, and that kind of creeped me out. That was still from the book. That worked pretty well. That was like one of the things that I thought the author did well in portraying in the book, and I'm glad they kept that in the book as well, in the movie as well, rather. Their other major difference, the ending. They completely changed the ending of the book and the movie. I actually like the ending of the movie better, and again, I don't want to do any spoilers. I would recommend the movie over the book. I don't usually do that, but it's still worth a good read. Like I said, I give this about 3 out of 5 stars. I give the movie more like 4 out of 5 stars. Worth the price of a ticket. I'd say give it a shot, and let me know what you think in the comments below. If you prefer the book or the movie, or any other comments you have on it. Talk to you later. Happy reading.